Meta has just been the worst.
It's still the best platform to grow.
Well, in terms of trajectory, it's been just awful. Just don't ever trust any of the things Meta tells you to do. Kind of that simple.
Yeah. The new programs they have,
so we
reps that call you
we
to
just
tell you
A/B
to do
tested
XYZ.
we just A/B tested their new incrementality setting, and it was just awful. I mean, it literally tanked an account for 5 days.
Cut the conversion rate in half.
And that just happens every time they roll out something new. Just be careful with it. Like I kind of was hoping this time it would be different, but it wasn't.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. With me, as always, is Mark Goldhart. Mark Goldhart, how are you today?
I'm well.
Good.
Spring is here.
Spring is here. We always talk about the weather. It's just...
Oh, it's so nice, though. I'm so sick of the weather. So sick of winter.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting like way spoiled. I feel like things are blossoming. We went to the Tulip Festival yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have like one more snowstorm that just sneaks in and kicks everyone in the nuts, but
it's supposed to rain tomorrow and potentially get cooler. So I'm wondering if maybe tomorrow could be it. It's cranking down a little.
It usually happens like right when May starts.
Yeah.
But anyways, excited to go camping.
Use your Haven tent.
Well, I do have the trailer, but we'll
bust it out,
see what happens.
For little naps.
Little nap ski in the shade.
Nice.
We're gonna go visit some hot springs.
Nice.
Detox the skin, apparently.
Very nice.
Apparently they're very good for you.
Down in Farmington?
No, these ones are out in the open, out in Delta.
Nice.
You can get there before you can get to some of the higher ones.
Oh, really?
But I think I'll take a day, go do a offsite there.
Yeah, you've been wanting to take us all out to Delta and do that. You keep talking about it.
Be fun, man.
We'll do it one day.
I know.
We'll do it one day. What are we talking about today, man? Listen, we're feeling a little... Grumpy's not the right word. A lot going on with our businesses.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We want to be here, but we wish that...
Well, sometimes it feels...
we have more time.
Like we're repetitive.
Yeah.
Which I get, like that's just... A true story is that everyone is repetitive.
Yeah.
Like I had this coach who was in the Hall of Fame and stuff and whatever, and great guy. But my second year on the team, I realized that he repeated all the same things. I was like, wait a second.
You were really inspirational my sophomore year.
It was still inspirational, but I just realized that you got to repeat yourself a lot. And as a brand, you got to repeat yourself a lot.
Yeah, and so sometimes...
all you're doing is repeating yourself.
The reason why
every
we're
day.
feeling... And we're just being open. The reason why we're feeling a little grumpy and, it's just because sometimes we feel like we're just saying the same thing over and over again. Which we are, which is important.
Which is hard for me.
And here's the thing. It's important to do it because most of the time, let's be honest, we listen to podcast episodes, we read books, we feel inspired and excited, but how often are we taking action? So it's good to hear those things. But sometimes we feel like, oh man, we just talked about this. Should we talk about it again? So it would be also very nice to get a little feedback from you guys to be like, yes, continue on. But we have some other things up our sleeves. But today we're going to try not to do that. We're going to kind of just give we thought it might be a good idea to give a little State of the Union on where we are at with different marketing channels. How are different marketing channels impacting businesses from an effectiveness?
Yeah.
I would like you to start with your story about Gary Vaynerchuk, what you had said, and how this conversation.
Oh yeah, Gary
Vaynerchuk, who's used to be everything, and now is he even?
Yeah, he still is, obviously.
Well, yeah, I know he is.
No, he's not like the. He's not really the flag bearer of entrepreneurship and business.
Yeah.
I think it's more of that Alex Hormozy.
You think he is? I am so out of touch with books.
I think that's who people. Yeah, I think that's kind of the guy that people look to now.
Okay.
Yeah, Gary V. Okay, let me preface this with saying this is not to say that Gary V is totally wrong in the medium to long term.
Yeah, because he's a smart guy. We're not saying he has
But I noticed something when he was speaking to an audience, and I thought, kind of true, kind of not. But anyways, it's about Google. So his comment was about how I think he asks everyone, like, raise your hand if you go to Google or if you go to ChatGPT first. And most people went to ChatGPT, and he kind of just was explaining how search is dead.
Yeah.
And I could be, look at the clip in this.
Yeah.
I could be twisting the words a little bit. This is just memory. Sorry.
And context was you probably didn't watch the whole thing. You just watched this clip.
I watched this clip. Yeah, I didn't watch like the whole speech. And again, I think Gary V has been right about a lot of things. And so I'm not saying he's wrong.
He was really right about NFTs.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
That was a big joke.
But he's gotten some of the trends right, you know? Like he obviously has gotten some trends right, and he's smart and he's like in it, and a smart guy. But everyone raised his hand. He's like, see, search is like dead. And after the comments, I was thinking,
because the reason why I said that is because most people raise their hands and like ChatGPT for questions.
Yeah. But the reality is he's talking to a bunch of marketers. And so I think some people are taking that message, whether that was his intended message or not, and thinking, oh, like Google and search, blah, it doesn't matter anymore. Like you have to go all in on social, which is probably true in the long run. However, you have to account for the fact that people have a 20-year built-in habit of going to Google first.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's talking to a room of people that paid to see him. So they're probably more willing to try new things, right? They're probably first adopters with certain technologies and marketing.
And they're probably people who've been listening to him for a while.
Yeah, and so they're all in ChatGPT
mentality anyways.
Yeah, and that's great. But most, like my wife, there's tons of people that are going to Google first for products. Like they're not going to ChatGPT and asking.
Me as somebody who uses ChatGPT, I use ChatGPT daily, several times a day.
Yeah.
Or some sort of form of AI, whether that's Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, whatever.
But if you're searching for a product.
But I never use ChatGPT for product searches unless I'm now wanting to evaluate them. So like what I'll do, like I'm huge into tennis. And so I'm constantly like very interested in shoes and rackets. I'm super, super interested in shoes and rackets because those two things are the things that help me perform the most, that I can feel. And so I will do my research on Google on shoes, and then I will plug all that information over into ChatGPT a lot of times to say, hey, can you give me a breakdown here? These are the 4 things I'm looking for based off of these 5 shoes. Which one would you recommend?
Yes. But you're not.
But I'm never starting at ChatGPT.
No. Because ChatGPT isn't even built for that. Maybe in the future it might be, but people are still going to Google. And so we see a lot of negativity around Google oftentimes. And we're not these big time Google Ads advocates necessarily either, because we think it's very contextual depending on your business and what you're in. Mm-hmm. But over the last 6 months, the only ad platform that I think has actually made any improvements is Google.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take. I think Google's been great. Like we've been running a lot of Google campaigns.
Yeah.
A lot of video stuff.
Google,
like so YouTube
as
well in that umbrella.
Yep.
And YouTube is always going to have just the worst in platform attribution you can imagine.
Right.
And again, this depends on your brand too.
Worse than Pinterest?
In-house attribution, yeah. Yeah, YouTube has the worst.
Okay.
Like in-platform attribution.
Reports.
It's going to underreport
Yeah.
just by 95% probably. It's horrible. So it looks bad, but like you'll see everything else rise with it if you're doing it the right way. So And PMax has gotten better. So PMax campaigns have gotten better. Shopping campaigns we're having success with. Like we're having success in a lot of Google stuff that's not only doing what it used to do, but also getting better from an incrementality standpoint.
Yeah, for sure.
So we are, I don't want to say bullish because there's just only so much in Google, especially on the search and shopping side. There's only so much to capture because you have to depend on people searching for what it is.
You still have to be manufacturing demand in order for that to work.
Yes. And, but that's where demand gen has been a pleasant surprise. So we're going to have more to report on that, but the new demand gen campaigns, which used to be the video campaigns, like, are doing wonderful.
Yeah.
It also allows you to designate like shorts versus just YouTube videos. So you can kind of go into YouTube shorts and YouTube videos.
But once again, in-platform tracking is terrible for it.
Yeah, you gotta be using post-purchase surveys and either if you need to get really technical, depending on your consideration cycle, there's Northbeam.
Yeah.
Triple whales out there. But honestly, we've been really pleased with Google.
Google and YouTube.
Yeah, the few people that we've used it with, I mean, it is making a huge dent in their bottom line. Like we've put 30% of budget into a YouTube campaign or a demand gen campaign. We have our strategies there. And even though the demand gen campaign says it gets a point, the ROAS on it is 0.13 or something like that.
Right.
That's what it's reporting.
Right.
But it is causing a 50%, 60% lift in new customer sales.
And in conversions in PMax.
So yeah,
PMax budget doesn't go up, that goes up.
Conversions go up everywhere and direct channel. So like it's getting new people, it's getting eyeballs,
right?
Getting really good interactions. Like we're super happy with those results. And anyways, yeah. So good job, Google. Like you're the only one who isn't screwing it totally up right now.
Yeah.
Although 3 years ago you kind of did, but
yeah,
we forgive you. Meta has just been the worst.
It's still the best platform to grow.
Well, in terms of trajectory, it's been just awful.
Yeah, seems buggy,
and it's usually awful, and I'm going to say this out loud. I try not to be too big of a negative Nancy when it comes to Meta, but just don't ever trust any of the things Meta tells you to do. It's kind of that simple.
Yeah. The new programs they have,
so we
reps that call you
we
to
just
tell you
A/B
to do
tested
XYZ.
We just A/B tested their new incrementality setting, and it was just awful. I mean, it literally tanked an account for 5 days.
Cut the conversion rate in half. Overnight.
Yes. So like the A/B test, like the side of the incrementality it wrecked conversion rates. It was not driving and this is a brand that doesn't have a big consideration cycle. So like you can just see it like one day after another.
Yeah, the reason why he brings that up, consideration cycle, is because sometimes
like you might need to give it longer.
To say like, you got to give it 30 days, but this is a product whose AOV is under $50, $60, right? Mm-hmm. Like consideration window is.
It's a very problem solution type product. So it's not like
you buy.
You don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So and that just happens every time they roll out something new. Just be careful with it.
Yeah.
Like I kind of was hoping this time it would be different, but it wasn't.
This episode of The Unstoppable Marketer is brought to you by BFF Creative. Let's be real, hiring designers and video editors can get super expensive, and that's why I'm excited about what BFF Creative has done. They've built a subscription design service that gives you the feel of an in-house creative team but at a fraction of the cost, which I'm sure we all could use right now. From ad creatives to social media posts, video edits to full website designs, BFF gives you unlimited designs and unlimited requests starting at just $1,000 a month. The best part about this, their custom app makes it super easy to submit projects, give feedback, review work, and store all of your creative in one place. As a listener of the podcast, you get 25% off your first 2 months with code Unstoppable25. That means unlimited creative for as little as $750 a month. Go check them out right now at bffcreative.co. Yeah. Especially right now, it seems like has been just so, like, it seems like once again, everything we're saying, Meta is still the best platform right now, we believe, for growth, for business, for brands.
For most brands, yeah.
For most brands.
Although we have a few where Google is the best channel. So
yeah. And there's a few where TikTok is too, right? Yeah. So everything I'm saying is, understand that we still believe Meta is a great channel. It just seems like over the last 6 to 12 months, it's just been inconsistent. Things you thought would work, things that were once working, no longer are.
Yeah.
Then things that weren't working now start to work.
It just seems way more finicky in the past, and our tried and true methods are the ones that are still working the best.
Yeah.
But every time we try something that they claim works better, whatever, it just never does.
Yeah.
And the best example I can come up with is if you use ChatGPT, you'll notice that it kind of latches on to certain things in your conversation too much, and it starts bleeding it all together and starts giving you some discombobulated responses.
Sure.
I'm just wondering if something like that's happening within the AI algorithms of Meta.
Yeah.
Where it's just latching onto stuff. It's just having a harder time reaching new people with certain optimization settings. And so you're getting stuck with just like higher frequencies, and if you don't catch it, or just like worse and worse conversion rates too coming from Meta. Now, there's macro stuff happening. We like to be open about the possibility of macro effects.
Yeah.
I know some people on Twitter say that's a big red flag if an agency mentions macro economy factors, but it's a big red flag if you're not trying to do anything about it.
If that's their excuse for everything, yes. But like to not acknowledge that.
You have to just acknowledge like the way the wind is blowing.
That's so stupid. Who said that?
So, well, I'm sure I'm just reading, it's just Twitter. So they're probably meaning it in the same way you're saying it. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
But to me, a golf caddy has to acknowledge the way the wind is blowing, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not just like, it doesn't matter.
Just hit it straight at the hole.
Like I'm just going straight at the hole every time, right? Like you have to acknowledge environmental factors.
It's a good metaphor. That's a really good metaphor.
And yes,
you could play golf on the coast that has, like, I remember my first time ever playing golf.
Yeah.
And when I had a caddy. And I remember a very specific moment where I was hitting a ball into the coast. Like the hole was literally right on the coast, I could throw the golf ball from the green in the water if I wanted to. And he said the wind blows so heavily in from the ocean to the coast that I remember I was like 130 yards out, which would be a pitching wedge for me. And he's like, hit an 8-iron.
An 8-iron?
And I'm like, that's crazy, man.
Not even a
hit an 8-iron. And sure enough, I hit an 8-iron and I was like front short of the green.
Wow.
So I hit it 30 yards less than I normally would hit an 8-iron.
Because the wind was blowing.
Because the wind was blowing so hard. So yeah, you have to. You can't just say hit it straight at it. You can't just say hit it right, like
don't do anything.
Yeah, so you have to acknowledge macro stuff. But yes,
so,
good point.
So what I'm saying is you have to acknowledge that there's macro things happening. What you can't do is just be like, well, we're just not going to make any adjustments based off of the fact that this is only macro stuff. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
It's like you still have to be trying to do things.
Yeah, you have
better.
To fight through it, and
yeah. But the meta stuff is frustrating because it just seems like they're trying to fix something that was working great.
Or try to make something better that they broke.
Yeah, like just the old idiom. Don't fix what's not broke.
Did you see that clip from Zuckerberg talking about how little time he spends in the ad platform?
I know. Yeah.
What a doofus. We'll have to play that clip.
Did he misspeak? He had to have. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm trying to look it up right now. But he essentially says, like, somebody asks him, like, you know, what he's working on with the ad platform. And he said, that's probably the thing I spend the least amount of time.
Yeah, no kidding,
what?
man, because it sucks.
Like, that was just like the biggest gut punch to every advertiser on your platform.
But it's not just a gut punch to advertisers. It's a huge self-own about like where your focus is. Like, I get he's more future vision oriented as a CEO, which is good for him, but
I imagine that's what pays the bills.
Your entire revenue stream is your advertising.
That's what I would have thought.
Platform. And it's not like you're not making money with an open source AI model.
Yeah. What about Quest?
I think that stuff does okay, but maybe 5-10% of their revenue.
I don't know.
Got to be 95%. I would guess 85 to 95% of their revenue is advertising.
Yeah.
So it just seems crazy that that's not your number one priority to make that the best advertising situation for advertisers, not just for you.
Yeah.
Because in the short run, you might be able to squeeze people for some money, but in the long run, it opens you up to really lose your place amongst advertisers as the best place to advertise.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for small and medium-sized businesses.
So what's working like...
So yeah, Meta's still working, but...
What are the tried and true things in Meta that still work? Like I have one that we talk about all the time.
Yeah, the tried and true stuff of Meta that's still working is...
creating good content.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
like
good ads are going to be the number one.
Yeah.
But paying attention to your reach and understanding, like, hey, are your ads driving the right kind of reach and engagement?
Yeah.
We're testing a few things out with like engagement campaigns, just to like boost social proof on ads and stuff that we've been doing for a while and kind of have come back to it. That's seeming pretty promising too. But yeah, good content, number one. Number two is effective messaging for different stages of the funnel.
And for the audience, the right audience.
So effective messaging for people who might know who you are or don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So think about where your customer is. And then just A/B test. Yeah. Multivariate test. Like test messaging, test value props, figure out like what the biggest emotional hook is.
Test new hooks. Yeah.
For your customers. Like it's not the savings. Like I know everyone's going to be jumping to savings messaging with the economy. It's not going to be the number one mover for you.
Yeah.
Might get some returners back and a few new people, but like you got to focus on what makes your best customers the best customers and really try to get more of them.
Also, once again, this is us. I started the podcast off with this, like we just beating a dead horse.
Yep.
What's the one with the drum? Is like beating a drum? I don't know.
Beating a dead horse?
I'm thinking beating a dead horse. Okay. Is like find other ways to get that reach up as well, which generally is through good organic content as well. Like that is going to be your
good organic, but
that's going to be your insurance policy through all of
what we've seen with people who don't have that. It's you got to figure something out in Meta to get that reach in your ads, or you've got to look at other platforms like Pinterest or YouTube.
Yeah.
To get your reach up, because most people are seeing just a dramatic decrease in reach, and that's fine. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people that say it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your CPMs are or your cost per reach is or any of that. But it does matter when you're not reaching as many people and conversion rate is going down.
Exactly. It matters significantly when like $1,000 used to get you 1,000 people versus now 500 people.
Yes.
That matters big time.
It matters
So-
big time. And I think reach is a big deal, especially when you're talking about you're trying to create as many touch points in a certain amount of time to influence somebody. And great content does that, but also repetition does that. Like we talked about how we get sick of saying the same thing over and again, but
Yeah.
repetition is a powerful tool. If you are familiar with sales psychology, you will know that the human mind associates things that are repeated over time with truth, which is a kind of a culty thing to say, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
sales, like business has known this for a long time. Like that's why Coca-Cola is willing to pay for advertising just to be seen everywhere.
Yeah. They
That-
are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they care about. Because if you see it all the time, then there's something to them.
Yeah.
So you as a business have to think about how to create as many good touch points as possible within a consideration time.
Yeah, for sure.
And reach is that obviously is a big part of that. Like you're not going to just convert someone because they saw your ad once.
Yeah.
You will convert some people, but there's a huge other bucket of people that aren't going to be converted. So how do you reach new people? How do you reach the same people? How do you just reach people at an effective cost with all of the, obviously with the end goal of being sales, not just for getting a cheaper cost per reach.
Yeah.
And what we have found is, if you can't do it in Meta, start testing other platforms like Pinterest, especially for certain kinds of women's brands, and then
TikTok.
YouTube. Also, for YouTube's going to veer more towards men. There's a lot of women on YouTube too, but it's different. So,
Thoughts on TikTok right now?
I think TikTok has been hot garbage for
Yeah, your thoughts on TikTok has been very similar.
like
for a while.
when everyone was talking about TikTok shops, I was very impressed.
Listen, it works really great for the people who put a lot of time and energy into it, who have
It just depends.
a product that people can talk about.
Yeah, it just depends on the product and the virality and the price point. Like that's kind of the factors that we have found. If it's a impulse purchase type buy, meaning you don't need a ton of touch points, like you can show someone the product and they think it's fun or cool or whatever, and they're willing to buy right then, TikTok can be great.
Yeah. Also, if it's problem solution, works great.
But it's just so hit and miss.
Yeah.
It's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
So Meta's still where you're going to have the majority of your ad spend, but Meta keeps making changes to algorithms, right? Like I think Meta's paying too much attention to TikTok, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to make Instagram into TikTok, and I think that's what's creating the problems with advertising, because people are spending more time in Reels than they were in feed, and it's a totally different mindset. I think
Yeah.
creates a different kind of user behavior in Reels versus feed.
Sure.
So that's my hot take.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which means you got to, as an advertiser, what does that mean? It means better Reels type content to blend in, but also like how do you reach the people and get them to act?
Yeah.
So Meta is, like everyone's feeling it. Like Meta is not just cranking and doing great for everyone right now.
Yeah.
We have a few clients that it's still doing that, yes, but
And all of our clients are still using it and still on it.
and that's the majority of our spend is in Meta.
Yeah, still highest spenders,
but if you're feeling hurt by Meta lately, like everyone is, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, and it could be a mixture of the macro stuff that we've talked about as well that's hurting the things that are happening. Like people's just buying behavior has become a little bit different. I know we talk about that over and over and over again.
Also just where they are and spending their time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the placements. Like,
yeah.
I think the placement thing is interesting, right? Like where are the people spending their time, and is it in the same order that it used to be since TikTok? Like TikTok has kind of disrupted it and came onto the scene. And so of course Instagram has to try to copy it. But it's like, is it changing the user behavior in the platform in a way that you have to focus on different kinds of measurables, which we have found the answer is actually yes.
Yeah.
You do have to change a little bit. And
Yeah.
the success we're seeing in Meta has to do with the fact that we think that you have to focus on slightly different lead metrics than we were before.
Sure. Lead metrics as in CPMs, click-through rates, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not necessarily those ones, but that's what he's meaning by lead metrics.
Yep.
So that's it. State of the Union. Anything else? We just wanted to get on and just be candid about some stuff.
No, that's it.
Maybe last thing is like user-generated content distribution is working well for people who do it right. It's not quite an ad channel, but it's a spend channel for sure.
Well, just like affiliate, yeah. So like affiliate network stuff, but doing it through product seeding.
Takes time. People don't like doing it. You know, like it's...
But we are seeing that UGC material is working less and less as a prospecting
piece of content.
Piece of ad material.
And more lower.
In the
funnel.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's all we got for you guys today.
So hope everyone has a happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Happy
I don't know
holidays.
if you'll hear this before Easter, but
yeah.
Have a happy Easter, or
they won't.
Hope you had one.
Yeah.
Or whatever you celebrate.
Yeah. I agree. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening to the Unstoppable Marketer podcast. Please go rate and subscribe the podcast, whether it's good or bad. We want to hear from you because we always want to make this podcast better. If you want to get in touch with me or give me any direct feedback, please go follow me and get in touch with me. I am at the Trevor Crump on both Instagram and TikTok. Thank you, and we will see you next week.